Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to episode 3. This is the Jeff and Rye Hockey Podcast with your host, Rye. I'm also with Steph and Jeff, as always. We're going to jump right into it here and get into who wore the pylon. Steph, who wore your pylon this week?
Well, last night I happened to be watching that Calgary Flames-Montreal game. Good hockey game, great goaltending. Great game to watch if you're into those kind of low-scoring games. And as a ex-goalie, that's exactly what I love. But there was a time where there was a 3-on-1 down 1-0. The Montreal Canadiens come down and don't even put the puck on the net. What are you doing? This is a 3-on-1. You are NHL hockey players. I think how should the kids perform that better? That's a pylon move if I've ever seen one.
You learn that in novice, boys.
What happened on the play? Was it like, did it just hop a stick or something?
Oh,
or
like toe jander, like Thomas Edison soccer, and just center the corner.
Toe jander.
That's awesome. All right, that's a good pylon. I like that one. Jeff, who wore your pylon this week?
I hate to do it to my own team, but I got to go with the Senators. I know Steph called them out last week. And the fact they just followed it up with another 3 straight losses in the week. And it was to Vancouver, a team that was taking a little bit to kind of come into their own. And, 16 goals against in 3 games and only 3 goals for. It was just a rough week all around, being an Ottawa fan. And I'm sure being in the organization was even worse. So I got to go give the pylon to my own team, the Sens, again. Tough to do it, but I think it's the right call.
Back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, that's it.
With all these pylons, the Sens are going to be directing traffic here soon.
I know. Something's going to have to change.
Love it.
Hey, as the in-house Leafs fan, I'm going to be taking Matthew Tkachuk to wear my pylon this week. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, honestly, the guy, Jake Muzzin, flips a little puck at your chest. Wouldn't have hurt a baby. You get up and lose your mind. At least when you got up, Muzzin dropped the stick. You go at his face with your stick in your hand. You freak out like a toddler. You go into your bench. You start breaking stuff. Some poor equipment manager's going to have to pick all that shit up because you got to act like a toddler because Jake Muzzin flipped the puck at you. Like, come on. You're a professional athlete. Act like you're at least, have some sense of decency, not some guy who's going to flip out over the small. Anyways, speaking of which, Jeff brought up that his pylon this week that went to the Ottawa Senators. Jeff and Steph and I have been talking about the Sens, obviously, with Jeff being a Sens fan. There was a lot of hype and a lot of positive emotions after the big first win against the Leafs in the start of the season. Like every team, they had a lot of hope going into the season that at least they would be competitive. And since that first game, hopes have fallen off in Sens land. I know the fans are really starting to have enough of how the team's performing. Doesn't look like they're giving their best effort every night. Their power play has not been very good. So really, with all the young talent that they have, we just wanted to talk about the Sens and where we see them going this season. Jeff, I'm going to pass it off to you because being the in-show Sens fan, what do you think's going wrong there, and how does the team turn it around?
Honestly, it's a lot of different things that seem to be the issue right now. Face-off percentages aren't good. They're not winning draws. That's one thing that sticks out to me. I know it's, nothing major. It's just a face-off, right? There's the whole rest of the game. But when you're not starting with the puck, you're chasing the game right away once the puck drops. They're only 45% in the circles this year. They're actually third worst, so they're sitting 29th out of the 31 teams in the league. Just need a better effort there all around. I'm watching the game Wednesday night on national TV against the Canucks, and the right mentality's there. I'm watching them try and get pucks deep, but they're just not making smart plays on getting pucks deep. So there's times they're throwing pucks in. It's going way too hard around the boards. Vancouver's easy to recover and get puck possession. It goes back the other way. Other times it's too light. Guys aren't skating hard enough in on the forecheck. They just kind of look like they're trying to find their chemistry right now. To me, it just looks like it's a lack of chemistry within the team, within the lineups. Obviously, goaltending, it's been very disappointing so far from Matt Murray. He's rocking an .859 save percentage right now. 4.39 goals against in his 6 games played as an Ottawa Senator. Those numbers aren't even close to his career stats. He's a .912 save percentage goaltender with a 9.72 goals against. So, Ottawa giving him that money, bringing him in and putting that trust and confidence in him, they're really hoping they were going to get those numbers out of him and a new shot here in Ottawa. And I know it's going to be tough for him just to find some confidence as well. So I think overall it just looks like a lack of confidence right now. Ryan, I know you mentioned earlier when, a team can kind of lose their confidence, it can really start to unravel. And I think it's just in this short week and a half, it kind of happened real fast and they just haven't been able to kind of find some confidence.
So if you're Pierre Dorian, or whoever should be the captain on a team, I guess one of the assistants you could ask, if you're one of these guys or the head coach, what do you say to the fans to try to get some hope back in the club? Obviously it's tough right now because, as a fan, you can tell that they're not giving their 100% effort every night. So I think that it's got to start with that. But what do you say to the fans to, try to get some hope and get some of the anger out of them? Obviously it's going to be tough when you're in a tough division, but I know the fans' backlash has been strong in Ottawa. So what would you say to them if you're one of the important guys for that club?
Yeah, I'm not making an excuse or anything, but you're in a tough division. You're in the North Division. It's a very tough division. You're going to play, 6 other teams in this division are all playoff teams, in my opinion. If you look at any one of those teams, it's either going to be the Jets, the Canucks, the Flames. Another 2 of those teams are going to be left out with Ottawa this year. So those are great teams, all teams that I know the playoffs are a little bit extended last year, but all those teams made the playoffs last year. Am I not correct? Other than just Ottawa.
Yeah, you're correct there. I would say that doesn't excuse a lack of effort. If I'm playing devil's advocate, that's what I would say.
Yeah, but Ryan, have you really been watching Ottawa games? Because you're saying a lack of effort.
I don't think it's a lack of effort at all. I think it's
I think you're offside on that, Ryan.
There's a lot of youth out there, so eventually just not making the right plays or not doing the right things, that'll come with time. That's part of learning the game. I think you're missing a savvy vet to teach this young group how to be that way, how to do the right things.
Yeah,
that was supposed to be Derek Stepan.
Yeah, I mean that's I was just gonna say to Steph.
That guy's like 60 years old, isn't he? He's a baby boomer, I think.
He might be.
He's a young guy, but I don't know what to like. I guess with the way I was just thinking about this for the podcast an hour or 2 ago about Ottawa, and is there a lot of high expectation? Like when Toronto drafted their guys and the rebuild was taking place, they got their number 1 guy in Austin Matthews. I know we just drafted Tim Stützle, but it's his first year. He's a 3rd overall pick. He's not a 1st overall. He's not compared to an Austin Matthews. Never will be. So I'm just thinking, is expectations maybe too high from everyone on this team? Is that possible?
I think that's possible, right?
Expectations.
So basically,
losing 16.
So what you're saying is, stay the course, try to get better, and stay the course. Is that kind of what you're saying?
I don't know, Stace. What were you trying to say there?
Expectations really 16 goals though. You can expect to not be good, but to be that bad defensively and
it's not only 16 goals for, it's 17 goals for. It's 36 goals against. You're over double your goals against played? And goals for. They have played 8 games.
36 goals against.
Yeah.
Wow. That's not anything expectation. That's just performance based right there. It's okay to lose, but
I don't think that Matt Murray's been that bad. Yes, his numbers are terrible, and I will give you guys that. But as a defenseman, watching their defensive play and knowing who their staff are back there, I think a lot of this has got to fall in their defensive play. I mean, some of that would be forwards as well, not playing well enough defensively. But when your number 2 defenseman is Nikita Zaitsev, I mean, that's arguable, but that he's up there. And as a former Leafs, or as a Leafs fan, talking about a former Leafs player, I mean, I could not wait to see that guy get out of town. And I think, I don't know.
I don't know. How many teams would he be a number 2 on?
None. Zero.
So like you make a good point there for sure.
Oh, definitely. I'm not disagreeing with you, Ryan. I know you would know a bad blue line when you see one. You're a Leafs fan, so that's all you guys ever see over there is a bad blue line. But
I'm not gonna argue with you on that one. They have been not a good blue line, but this year I think they have. I think they have a good staff of D back.
It's always this year, eh? It's never. It's always this year, next year. All right, I'll let now. I've been taking some heat. I had to throw some heat elsewhere. All right, boys. I just had to.
Well, fair enough. Your sins are getting dragged in the butt a little bit here. I get it. I enjoyed that actually.
The 11.8% on the power play, that's not good enough. 2.13 goals for a game is not good enough. Like if you're barely scoring 2 goals, that's not good enough as a forward group. You're letting in 4.5 goals against the game. Again, I think that falls more on the defense than Matt Murray, but Murray does need to be better. Ottawa has $10 million in cap space. Eugene Melnyk needs to get off his wallet, spend a couple dollars on a veteran, or make a deal that you're getting some salary back. Somebody that's going to give you guys some confidence. Somebody that's going to teach these young guys the right ways to be, the ways to be a good pro, and somebody who can still play. Not just somebody for motivational factor in the dressing room, but somebody who's good and that can play. I don't know. I think that, what are your thoughts?
It's a great idea, Rye. I just, being an Ottawa fan and knowing that the money's not there, like, to spend, like, we're a budget team. So I get what you're saying. It's just, unfortunately, that's just not going to happen, especially and with COVID going on. Like, there's no big source of revenue coming back in for the team. Like, it just sucks. It's just painful. I think if you're a fan and you truly know the organization, you truly know what's going on with the team as best as what we can see and hear from the media, I think this is just something that you kind of just gotta, like Steph was saying before the podcast started about the rookies and the youth, and you just gotta kind of have hope in that, I think.
But that being said, though, like, Melnyk is still a billionaire, and a lot of other teams, yes, are they having issues with money coming in, but like teams like Winnipeg, for instance, those guys are burning $20 million a year just lighting on fire because they can. Their owners are so rich it doesn't matter. Eugene's probably the poorest owner or poorest ownership group in Ottawa or in the NHL.
Right.
And it's times like this it's obviously showing.
For sure.
Like
definitely.
They spend $10 million extra to get even closer to the cap. And honestly, I think if he could, he would have shed even more salary. But you got to put something on the ice. So, and you got to have so many skaters. So, I think a lot of it comes down to maybe I don't know. You can't force the owner to sell the team, but I think that solves some problems for you guys. Not all of them, but some of them for sure.
Yeah, like billionaires, they go bankrupt too, right? Just because
I just love hearing I telling a billionaire to get off his wallet, you cheap prick. That was amazing.
Yeah, like pay some guys to play for your hockey club. Maybe get some staff. There are a lot of rumors out there that like they work with like a third of the actual like internal staff that any other team in the NHL does. Like freaking sounds like Dorian's got to scrub toilets because they can't afford a janitor. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, I mean, there's issues in that organization that start with Eugene Melnyk.
So the thing is, like, you say all that, Ryan, yet Ottawa drafts better than the Leafs do, and the Leafs got billions. Like, just because we don't pay a scout $1 million to go scout and he doesn't know what he's doing, like...
I'm sorry. Who's on the Ottawa Senators? Are they better than Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, William Nylander, Morgan Riley?
Austin Matthews is a result of a draft lottery ball, son. That's nothing you guys did to go.
So you're saying that Ottawa doesn't know how to lose properly?
Well, I don't know if we don't know how to get this draft figured out in your situation. I mean, we haven't been losers for as long as you guys been in the last 20 years, right? We're still trying to figure this losing thing out. Right?
I think you've been figuring it out for a while.
All right. I'm ready to go to the next subject here, Steph. I think this is getting out of hand.
Motions are flying. That's okay. That's okay. Emotions are flying. Jeff's wrong. You can't accept it.
Speaking of emotions, I think we should move over to the little thing that's going on in Pittsburgh.
I agree. So the story that comes out this week, Jim Rutherford resigns his position as GM of the Pittsburgh Penguins. He quotes for personal reasons. There's been some rumors that have leaked since that. announcement is coming out. Yeah, exactly. And the rumor is that Jim Rutherford is trying to facilitate a deal to move Chris Letang off the team and try to get, obviously, some return. The rumor is that the Mario Lemieux group decided that they did not want this trade to happen. Jim Rutherford basically made it known that, if he can't do what he feels he needs to make the team better, he doesn't want to be a part of the organization anymore. They said, well, you can do what you want, but you're not trading Letang. So he resigns for personal reasons. I think that makes sense. I think it's more than just a rumor. It sounds like he's not done in the NHL. He's not a young man by any means. But he sounds like he still wants to be in the NHL going forward. So I don't think it's an age thing. I think it sounds like this rumor is true that he couldn't actually make the move that he wanted to make. That being said, I think that we should talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins as a whole. Obviously, if he's trying to make that deal, he feels that he has a depreciating asset in Letang. He knows that he still has value. He's trying to get something back in return for him. Obviously, they're in a tough cap situation like everybody else is. And then with the pandemic going on, they're not bringing in any revenue. So it makes sense that they want to move him. But I think, the biggest question is what does Pittsburgh do going forward? Even if they're going to get a new GM, obviously he's going to have to listen to the Lemieux group. What does he do? Do they start a rebuild? Does Crosby want to go through rebuild? Crosby's going to be 34 this year. Malcolm's going to be 35. Letang is going to be 34. These are not young players we're talking about. How much more do they have in them? Do they have another cup in them? And if they don't, they really have to think about a rebuild. And that starts with trading guys like Letang, maybe Malkin, maybe Crosby. I just wanted to get your thoughts, Steph, on what do you think Pittsburgh should do going forward after they
Well, right now, with the time being the way it is, with everything that's going on in the world, it's like you're kind of going to take that away from the fans and the people, and just leave them with the dog shit team pretty well. Like you're going to trade for low assets and picks, what you're going to trade for, right?
The other side of that coin is maybe this is the best time to do it because there are no fans in the building. There's nobody to boo. There's nobody to do, have that negative feedback. I know that for sure, but at least like the organization won't feel it, at their arena. There won't be that embarrassment. At least it'll be online or, socially distanced or whatever you want to call it. But, some would argue that this year might have been the best year to try to lose, or if you're going to do something that you think that fans are going to look at negatively, this year would be the year to do it because they're not actually in the building.
Of that too would be like when you look at Vancouver and the Sedin Twins, like they held on to them for too long, and they should have moved them at a point where they could have got good assets for them and rush this rebuild a little faster than what it's been. Mind you, it all seemed to work out for them. Yeah, like they're a young team, they look good. But you can look at it that way and see from the past and don't let history repeat itself, as they would say.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think, it would have been fair for Vancouver to trade the Sedin to try to get them a cup. I think, they're two really great players that'll probably be in the Hall of Fame that, they didn't win a cup because they had their chances, no doubt. But I think, especially in the latter years of their career, they didn't really have a team to even come to doing that.
Right, my guard dogs are going off.
Something's happy. That's okay. But yeah, no, I think that would have been good for them. It would have been good for the organization to try to speed up the rebuild a little bit. Jeff, what do you think? Do you think a Letang trade is a good idea for the Penguins? And, do you think they can do a retool on the fly and keep Malkin? Or do you think they should tear it down and do a full rebuild? Because really, their depth outside of those top guys. I mean, you got like guys like Brian Rust and Drummond,
Gensel.
But outside of that, they got guys named like Teddy Bluger. Like who?
With that reason, for sure.
Like
their depth.
Usually
that's they have this talent up on the front end, but they've always had secondary scoring and good penalty killers, and they've always had depth on the roster. Yeah,
I mean, no strong goalie. This is the first year that they don't have that strong goaltender back there. They took a chance on Tristan Jarry, and they got Casey DeSmith as his backup, which is a really unproven tandem. And I think that that's partially showing.
100% agree with that. We were talking about that last night.
Yeah,
for their team.
for sure.
I
would build right around Crosby. I would trade out Malkin. I would trade out Letang. I'd be willing to trade everyone but Crosby at this point right now in the organization if I was the Penguins GM. But I'm crazy. I get it.
Crosby, but I guess Gretzky moved, right?
I wouldn't trade Crosby though, is what I'm saying, Stace. I would, because
keep him.
To me, like, Crosby's just such a competitor. He's such an athlete. He cares
that's what
about
I mean.
the
Like,
game.
how could you trade that? Like, do you know what that would do to the fan base?
No, I wouldn't. Yeah, I couldn't trade him. No, I couldn't. I would not trade Crosby.
What does an Evendi Malkin trade look like? You know, like what is he worth? Like that's a big. He is still a good player. You'd be
at least.
Oh, for sure.
Like
more than that. It's got to be more than that. No. I think he's still on the top tier player in the NHL, man. I wouldn't call him a superstar. There's only a couple of those guys, but he's in the tier below. He has, there's no doubt, but I mean, at the same time, I think he's probably his game, like any veteran that's been playing the game forever, their game's changed. Obviously, if you slow down a little bit, you become a little smarter. I think that's part of it. Yeah, he maybe slowed down a little bit, but he became a little smarter. He still gets lots of points, still good in the draw. He's still big centerman, can still skate decently well. I think he's going to be like, I don't even think he's a deadline move. I think you'd have to trade him in the offseason to try to make that work, because I think he's got to get a huge package coming back.
Boy, like, what would you want for him or ask for him?
I mean, it depends on what your motivations are as Pittsburgh. If you're trading him and you're wanting to retool on the fly and keep Crosby, I think you can't just take futures. You got to take somebody, a prospect that's ready now or going to be ready very soon. Somebody you can hop into your lineup and start playing right away. Maybe not at their full potential yet, but somebody, a centerman that could potentially, take over and be as good as Malkin one day. I think that would be, you got to get a player like that back.
Been a good move?
Plus futures. You know what? I think that would have been a good move for Pittsburgh. I don't think it would have been a good move for Columbus.
Yeah. I see your point there, 100%.
That deal would have made sense.
I never thought about it on the backside.
But to me, Columbus isn't in a place where they're not really going to push to win this year, I don't think. So for them, it doesn't make sense to do that kind of risk.
People out of Pittsburgh seem intriguing.
Yeah. Honestly, a team that would make a lot of sense, like if you're trying to do a deal like that right now, like how good would Montreal be with Malkin up the middle?
Oh, I was thinking that. I just didn't.
Talking Yemi.
Yeah.
You guys see him?
Yeah, I would agree.
I didn't see that.
Bloody nose and everything. I loved it. Watched it 20 times.
Not as bad as patches, though. Like when Chara smoked patches, was it? No.
Yeah. Still a big hit, though.
But I think it would be a package built around Kotkaniemi, maybe Victor Mete, who we're going to talk about later. Probably a good young defenseman, Kotkaniemi, and a pick. Probably that would be the deal.
That's actually a nice little package.
Yeah.
And for Pittsburgh, I think that's you're getting a guy that can play right now in Kotkaniemi, and he's going to play behind a guy like Crosby who can teach him a lot. And I think that'd be a good spot for him. You're getting, a young defenseman or another young forward that can be either play this year or play next year, and then a draft pick, either maybe a second round pick or something like that. Right? I don't think it could be a first. I think that would maybe be too much. Or like a first that's top 10 protected or something like that. That would have to be the deal if I'm Pittsburgh. But I think Montreal, they could do that, and then you got Suzuki and Malkin as your top guys, plus Phil Deneau. They could get scary good doing a move like that, and they got cap space to do it. So, to me, I think that'd be a huge deal for Montreal. I mean, I hate saying it because it's being a Leafs fan, and but man, they could be scary. They could be scary good if they did something like that. Okay, well I like that. I like that. We kind of are all on the same page there. Moving on from the Penguins, we want to get into a new segment called Steph's Can't Miss Bet for this week. coming up. Steph, I'm going to pass it off to you. What is your can't miss bet this?
So as the podcast is degenerate, this week I was looking at some of the numbers on the Vegas lines, and right now they got Nashville Tampa over 5.5 plus 138. Really like those numbers. If you watched the game last night, I believe it was, that game went well over 5.5. I see it going over 5.5 again. 138, like I said, great numbers. You put 100 down, you get paid back 138 off of it. So yeah, that's my can't miss bet of the week. And bet your mortgages, bet your houses,
so
bet everything you get.
Just to be clear, that's 238 coming back on a $100 bet.
Yeah. So you get your 100 back.
Okay. Yeah. No, I like it. I like that. Nashville's been a little shaky in between the pipes. Tampa can score a lot of goals. I like that over 5.5 bet. We're going to move on to another storyline that came out this week. Sorry, no, lost my train of thought, boys. Lost my train of thought. We're going to talk about another storyline that kind of came out last night in headlines. Basically, that Victor Mete wants out of Montreal and Sam Bennett wants out of Calgary. Another two young guys wanting trades out of their respective clubs. This coming after Patrick Laine requested a trade, Jack Ross requested a trade, Pierre-Luc Dubois requested a trade out of town, and now you have Sam Bennett and Victor Mete requesting trades. What are your guys' thoughts on all these young guys all of a sudden wanting to come out? It seems like kind of one guy did it. Now they all feel like they can do it. I'm going to go to Jeff on this one just to start. Jeff, what are your thoughts on these young kids wanting out? Is it starting to become too much of a theme? What are your thoughts on the whole situation?
Might as well just call us the National Basketball Association.
I love it.
It's just players picking what they want to get paid, where they want to play. We'll sit out. We'll do this. To me, it's just I get it. Like, as being employed, like just like myself, I have the right to work where I want, and if I'm not happy, I guess at the end of the day, I could search for work elsewhere, just like all of us out there. So I do have to have some respect towards the players in that. It's just getting frustrated, and I just know, Steph, you just how we're talking just before the podcast started here, it's too much. It's just enough's enough. It just seems like, I don't know I'm just frustrated. I'm kind of lost for words.
There's an RFA and a UFA. Until you get to become a U, you need to sit down and shut the F up.
So I think that's interesting, right? Like, both these players are feeling like they want to trade out of their respective clubs because they're not getting fair opportunity for play and ice time, and that they're not getting looks. So based on what you guys are saying, it sounds like they need to earn that opportunity and not just expect it because they were, highly touted prospects. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Like, as being a Wings fan, it's not like unknown that we pretty much make everyone go to the minors right away. No matter how good you are, how high you're drafted, you go and spend some time in the minors, you ride the bus, you get your cold lunch meals, and you do what you have to do to learn how to become an NHLer. So you come up, you respect the position you're given, and you earned it in the right way. Not just sitting there like this Mete guy. How many games has he played?
Probably over 100.
Well, he's probably 100.
100.
Has he shown anything to deserve this ice time? Like, what is he? Is he taking away ice time from?
I mean,
so Rye, I'll take this because I know a little bit about him. So he was more slotted space as their like 5th and 6th defenseman on the depth chart, and then when they went and brought in like Edmondson and Sherry out there,
defenseman's a little great.
So he kind of got shifted down in the depth chart from 5-6 to more like a 7-8. So he's checking in and out, and I just think he's kind of obviously not the position he wants to be in. Obviously, a team like Montreal, they're pretty deep this year, and they look like they're want to make some noise in the playoffs. So I think, on a different team, he maybe slots in at the 4-5, 5-6 spot, somewhere in there, and he's going to get that ice time. He's going to get a chance to play every night. So coming from Mete's perspective, right, he's just a young kid. He just wants to play in the NHL. He knows he deserves a spot somewhere in the NHL. It's just unfortunate he's on the 6-7 spot.
So he'd be happier going to the spot, playing minutes, and like losing 35 games this year. as long as he gets his 20 minutes. Like, that's what these kids are about now.
Come to Ottawa, he's our 2 guy. Hey, bring him in Ottawa, he's the 2 guy.
Let's go get 6
He
wins.
probably he would be.
Let's go get 6
Sorry, I
wins.
had to go.
No, I mean, I think, even just our experiences in hockey, obviously not playing at that kind of level, but even just playing growing up, we were really ingrained in our age group that, if you wanted or expected ice time, you need to earn. You need to, your play needs to dictate that your play is earned, or that, you deserve that ice time. And, just expecting because you think you're at one level is another thing. And it's part of the collective bargaining agreement. If you don't like it, say so at these meetings. Don't.
That's a great point, Ryan. Great point.
You obviously were excited. You were excited to be there when you got drafted by them, or you were excited when you got there. Obviously that's changed now because you haven't played. But maybe you should be asking yourself why you're not playing and not blaming the organization for your issues.
100% right.
So the other one that came out, Rye, was Bennett, and this just dropped last night. Do you know why or what all kind of transpired there?
Yeah, it just sounds like he's just looking for a change of scenery.
He's
go for a
Bennett,
car
if you
ride.
remember. Yeah.
Go for a car ride, man.
Yeah, Bennett was pretty highly touted when he was a prospect, right? Like he was, they were looking at him. Yeah. But no, he was supposed to be really good. And I think he's never really gotten the opportunity to be there to play on their top lines. He's always been like a 3rd or 4th line guy. And he's even tried to change his game just so that he could suit that more. He actually spun the mitts a couple times last year. So I think he's just looking for a change of scenery, looking for more of an opportunity, which I don't really understand because, like I said, I have Calgary pegged to make the playoffs. So I think they're going to need guys like him. But obviously he thinks it's not good enough. So he wants out.
Yeah, when Jesse gets on the show, we'll have to get his take on what's going on there and what line he's been playing on and what seems to be the issue. He might have some insight there for us.
Yeah, no, so that's going to be the next segment. We're going to be getting Jesse here on in about 5 minutes.
Jump in on that.
Sure, yeah.
Like when you said there that he's changed his game in the last couple of years, which he has, it's been really noticeable. I've actually liked the way he's changed his game. Like I felt like it's added a nice little grit, and like it's what a 3rd, 4th line guy needs to be when you're making a playoff run. And I really think that's going to be important to them. And it's going to be a tough loss if they can't replace that. And he has a sick mustache. Can't take that.
Yeah, no, and I think Elliott brought that up when they were talking about it on the panel, that Calgary's not going to be in a rush to trade him. They're not under any obligation to trade him, and unless he fits, they're not going to be in a rush to trade him. That being said, if he pulls what Dubois did and starts going out there and not trying, that things could change very quickly. But
but I feel like they can say, at least like Dubois was like their all-star, they're dependable. Where like they still have Monahan, they still have Goudreau, they still have guys that they can lean on. Like Bennett's not the most important on that.
Yeah.
Ice.
I think that's a tough sell, though, for, if you look at it from a business perspective, that's a tough sell to ownership that, this guy feels like he's being treated unfairly, so he's going to sit, and yet we're paying him, $1.5 million. I can't remember exactly what his salary is, but $1.5 million, $2 million to sit there and not play because he's having a temper tantrum.
Redheads.
Yeah, so it's.
I love you guys. I love you.
Yeah. I think that's probably part of it. So just to let him sit would be one thing. He hasn't said he's going to do that. So we'll wait and see. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But moving forward, yeah, like I said, we're going to be bringing on Jesse here in a couple minutes. Him and I are going to be talking about the Leafs and Flames and everything that happened there this week, which obviously led to some pretty interesting storylines. I'm going to be passing the mic over to Steph, and he's going to kind of be asking us some questions about our teams and how we thought the whole situation played out. But before we do that, Steph, I didn't tell you that I was going to be doing this, but I need you to let me take the mic here for 2 minutes. But basically, I just want to talk about something here real quick that means something to me. This past Thursday was Bell Let's Talk Day in Canada here. And basically, it's for me. I just want to kind of tell my story a little bit. It's not something I've ever really shared with the public. My close friends and family know, but that's basically it. I've been struggling with anxiety for the last almost decade. I had my first anxiety attack in 2012, and it got very serious in 2017. Was the first time I had to go to the hospital because of it. It just felt like I was dying. I think it's really important that we kind of bring along that message and the stigma that mental health is an issue. When I was growing up, I didn't understand mental health, and I thought I've seen that as a weakness and you don't really understand it until it affects you. And we just want everybody to know out there that, if there's stuff going on in your life, there are people that will listen to you, whether it's family or friends, or I know there's lots of health lines out there that, if you're struggling with stuff in your life that you need to talk about, please talk to somebody. Don't keep it to yourself. It affects you. It affects everybody. Somebody is being affected by it right now, and you may not even know it. So I think it's important that, the stuff with like Bell, Let's Talk Day, I think it's important that we try to end that stigma and people to get the help that they need and deserve. So that's basically all I wanted to say, was just that, it could be people that you may not expect, but there's always people out there that may need your help, and just keep an open mind and
really
listen
well
to the people
there,
that need
Ryan. Especially,
great word.
I hope a lot of the Sens fans will listen to that too, because they're going to be needing to talk to
them. Trust me. Yeah, they might need some therapy sessions after that one.
But really well said. It's issue, and it affects people from major leaguers, the NHLers, the NFLers, just the regular people like you, me, and everyone else around here. So it's a true issue, and I think it's about time that it's getting the look at that it needs to be.
The respect, yeah, for sure, Steph. Just to add a little bit to that. I totally agree with you, Ryan. I'm glad you brought that up. Just a great point. I think you don't understand mental health until it actually affects you, like you said, Ryan. Until you go through it yourself. I can say, don't stress out, but until you actually understand the anxiety that person, a family or friend might be under, you'll never truly understand. And I think it's just so important for us as people, to our family and friends and loved ones and strangers, is just to be there, to show compassion and kindness, and to just listen to anyone. We don't always know what kind of day everyone's having, if it's a good day or bad day, right? Or what's going on in their own life. So I think it's just important that we're always make ourselves as ready, available to people, to just be an open ear and to just show that we care, right? That's what we're called to do.
Especially this, like for the last year, basically everybody's been locked in their houses. I know depression's probably been a big thing in everybody's lives the last little while. Can't see family, can't see friends, can't even go to the store without wearing a mask. So I know it's heavy on everybody. So, if you're struggling, please seek help.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Everybody has to. Don't be shy.
That's right.
Yeah, I know. It's easier said than done, but, somebody wants to hear your story. So
that's right.
Find that person to talk. So to get off of that, thanks guys for letting me say my piece there. I'm going to be inviting Jesse right now. All right, we want to welcome Jesse Pylon to the show. He's our Flames fan that's going to be giving us some insight on the team. And
Jesse!
Jesse!
Hey, thanks for having me on, boys.
Yeah, no problem. So this is a little segment we want to do for fun at the end of the show here, just talk about the Leafs and Flames and the little series they had this week. I'm going to pass the mic over to Steph, and he's going to ask us some questions, and we're going to go to war, bud. You ready?
Not really, but we'll see what happens.
All right, Steph, off to you, buddy. Let's go.
Well, Jess, a long time no talk. Probably about 12 hours ago, but yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. I'll just get your feelings right away out of the gate. How do you feel about the start of the Flame season here?
They look pretty good. I mean, the only problem I think we're having is every time we win, someone plays really good in net. So I think we need to address that. But other than that, Flame season looks good. I mean, Elliot Friedman dropped a bomb last night that Bennett wants out. So
that was on the podcast earlier. What's your feelings on that?
I understand kind of why he wants out. I think he's looking for a little bit more ice time, but I think we need him. I think he's a vital piece to our organization. But picked him, I think, 6th overall. So I would be sad to see him leave. But I mean, if we can get someone in return, but
does that someone have to have a mustache?
Yeah, I mean, every team's got to have one, right? Especially when Lanny McDonald's in the alumni group.
Amen to that. All right, so now let's get into the juicy stuff, the tea, as they would say. Matthew Tkachuk falling on Jack Campbell. Was that intentional? Was there meaning behind that?
Who wants to lead it off?
I'll give that to Jesse right away. I know Rye's feeling already.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all Leafs fans feel the same way when something happens to them. So, but I mean, I don't see it was intentional. I think he just fell. I mean, if you're gonna push a guy onto your own goalie, I mean, I think he's gonna want to take that liberty every time. But I mean, it's Matthew Tkachuk. It's what he does. He gets under everybody's skin, and he wants everybody to be talking about him. And I don't think anything crazy is going to happen next game. I don't think he'll drop the gloves with anybody. I think he's going to try and get other guys to, bite on the bait. But we'll see what happens. I'm really curious for the next Leafs-Flames game.
Rye, you?
Well, to be honest, I really think that Jake Muzzin's going to fill his face in. He's going to be spitting chiclets, not to quote their podcast. But no, I think, looking back at the play, it's hard to tell whether he actually meant to do it or not. I know a lot of Leafs fans are jumping on the fact that it looked like he did.
I'm going to say a little contact.
I'm going to say him falling was not on purpose. He did not on purpose fall. He was definitely pushed. However, if you watch him as he's falling, he drives his knee into the back of Campbell's head or wherever he lands on there, his back or his head or whatever.
That's a 15-yard penalty in football.
Yeah, he definitely used his knee to try to injure. I don't care what he says that he thought it was classic, that people were blaming him for that. But if you watch it back, no. Did he mean to fall?
What do you think it was, Ryan?
Classic. Classic. He thought it was classic. Oh, that's just a classic. That's just a classic fan thing that think that I did that on purpose. Well, it was classic because that's classic Matthew Tkachuk being a shit disturber, being a dink, trying to be Brad Marchand and failing at it. So that's how I feel about that. And then to act like a toddler after Muzzin flips the puck at you. Like, come on, man. Like we talked about this earlier in the podcast, but like to freak out and then go to the bench and freak out over there because the guy flipped the puck at you, like, grow up. Like, I know.
Freak out, I understand that thing. Like, if somebody flipped the puck at you and you were on your knees on the ice, you wouldn't freak out?
Oh, well,
100%.
Not like that. Not like that. And drop your stick. Drop your stick. If you want to fight somebody to do that, drop your stick.
Yeah, he's not going to fight, though. You know that. He wants you to take the liberties.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, like,
how do you see it, Reezy?
Honestly, like, I love what Matthew Tkachuk brings to the table. I love his game style, his game play. I just feel that sometimes he's maybe a little bit out of line. I don't have an issue with what happened with the Campbell thing, I guess. Like with like what you guys said, it does look like he did drive the knee a little bit hard in there for sure. And as far as the whole, the puck getting shot at him, I do agree with Ryan on this that, he was already in the wrong and he should have just kind of let that one go. I don't think it was nothing to get all. From Tkachuk's point, if he's going to go and say this is typical Leafs, saying that I did this on purpose, well, this is right for everyone else to say this is typical Tkachuk getting mad over nothing, over a simple little.
You're both right. It is typical both ways.
Yeah.
And like this goes for Muzzin. This isn't just him hurting Campbell. This goes back. He was Drew Doughty's D partner when the whole Tkachuk thing happened with Doughty and Tkachuk. Muzzin was Doughty's partner at that point.
Yeah.
This is bad blood that's been boiling over for a while. This isn't just like, oh, you fell on my goalie and hurt him. You may or may not did it. This is, you're an asshole and I'm going to flick this puck at you because I'm going to be an asshole.
Is the next game going to be like Edmonton, Alberta, and Calgary, Alberta, Battle of Alberta? The brawl that happened last year, is that what's going to happen this year?
I doubt it. but I would say that the Leafs do have a couple guys that would easily spin the mitts with them. Muzzin, I think, would fill him in. Wayne Simmons, that would be a mistake. He would fill him in. Nobody talks.
Lucic is going to be flying around too. Like, there's going to be more up there for.
Well, Lucic needs to focus on his own game, maybe not worry about dropping the mitts. If that guy could, score a goal or.
What do you mean? He's got like 5 points right now.
Yeah, finally, after I think was it last year.
Don't say finally. He's been playing great.
I wouldn't. I don't know.
He's not supposed to be. He's not supposed to be scoring goals, and he's supposed to be just being out there being a dink. He
brings a veteran role to our team. It's all he's there for.
So then my question to you would be then. So when Tkachuk went nuts on Muzzin, if you watched the other guys that were on the ice at that point, they basically did nothing. Like, you could barely get them to grab a jersey. They didn't even look like they cared. It was kind of like, man, you're an idiot kind of thing. Like, what are your thoughts on that, Jess? Because, like, if I'm Tkachuk, maybe that's why he freaked out. Maybe he's like, you guys can't even stick up for me. Like, when the Leafs played Winnipeg the other night, Neil Ponick went after Marner at the end of the game, and Scheifele knew that Pionk or whatever his name is was an idiot and shouldn't have done it, but he still grabbed the guy because he's like, that's my guy. I'm going to protect my guy. It looked like the Flames didn't even care.
I think the refs had it pretty under control, and I mean, it's the end of the game. Emotions are boiling. I think the boys just want to get off the ice after a loss, and I see what's going on, but I don't think they're going to fight. Like, I don't think Matthew Tkachuk's dropping the gloves at Jake Muzzin. I think he's just going to smoke him behind the net like he did to Cassian.
But he fought Cassian too, though.
Yeah, but not till a game and a half later, almost.
Well, after he buried him 10 times.
Yeah, like
that was great. That was great.
Like, we got how many more times do we? I think we played them 6 more times or something this year.
I think we played 8 times. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a good matchup.
So
but I think the reason.
Carry on, Jess. Carry on, bud.
I think the reason why Tkachuk was so upset that he flipped the puck at him, I think he was just being, a bit, a douchebag and just like doing something uncalled for that you don't need to do. And he's just on his knees, not really doing anything. He's minding his own business back there. Celebrate with your team, enjoy the win. Just trying to start stuff. I get what he's doing. Trying to get the boys revved up because, like, all in all, I don't think the Leafs are playing to what they're supposed to be playing. I think they could be a little better. So, I mean, maybe he's just trying to get the boys fired up. But I think Tkachuk's just going to smoke him, take a big hit on him. He's a small guy. Everybody underestimates him. And I think he's going to run Muzzin through the boards. And Muzzin's going to freak out, drop his gloves. And, he's going to go to the box. And then Tkachuk's going to skate away with the power play.
Will he feel shame?
I hope so.
All right. With that being said, though, boys, I just want to get your final takes here on where do you think your teams are headed here for the rest of the season? What do you see in store for the boys here? I'm going to go right here first.
So I just want to make a little comment about the Flames before I get into the Leafs. So they're 3-3-1.
Yeah, go ahead.
3-3-1. I agree with Jess. They have come out at a decent start, probably not as high as expectations. Markstrom's been solid. I know you did that in your bold prediction stuff that he's going to win the Vezina. If he keeps playing like this, there's a decent chance that he might actually do it. So, I mean, Good for you for calling that, because his stats have been pretty good so far to start, like 2.18 goals against and 918 saves.
Yeah, 2 shutouts already.
2 shutouts, yeah. He has been really good, so I think that's really good for Calgary, and that's, I think, why they're going to make the playoffs out of those Western teams. But they got to score more. You guys are struggling to put the puck in the net. You can probably agree with that. I think that's going to be your Achilles heel if you don't get that figured out. But getting on to the boys. So saying the Leafs, 7-2-1, great start to start the season. 10 games in, they got a little break coming in here, going into they have off till Thursday now is the next game. They're scoring more goals than goals against, which hasn't been seen for them other than last year. But the years before that, they gave up a lot of chances. I really think if you watch the Leafs this year compared to years in the past, they've really limited scoring chances against. They're not giving up, 35, 40 shots. They used to do that religiously, and it would drive me nuts. They get trapped in their own end all the time. And I think that's probably just to do with the young guys just getting a little older, a little more mature. Now you got veterans like, Brody back there with Riley, which would be a huge difference on the D end. Justin Hall has turned into a really good player. He went from mediocre to really good very quickly. He just turned 29. He's kind of right in the prime of his career. So for him, that's huge for us to have him with Muzzin on the back end. our top four is solidified. Anderson's been okay. I wouldn't say he's been great. He's been good since the first two games. I thought he was awful in those first two games. Since then, he's been pretty good. So he's not really too much of an issue for me right now, as long as he's still being Freddie, a little inconsistent. But I could see them. I think they're going to be battling with Montreal for the rest of the season to win the division. It's good for the two. I hate to say it, but Montreal is a really good team in the division. And I feel like the Leafs are really good, and I think it'll be one of Toronto or Montreal that wins the division. The other one's going to be second. So I think that their strong play is going to continue. I think that they've had a lot of games where they still haven't been at the best that they can be. They got a lot of gritty wins and a lot of wins that they just kind of pulled up their pants and got the job done. But I don't think that they're playing at their top level yet. So I think the Leafs still have more to show, but they've had a really good start to the season.
Said like a true Leafs fan. I love it. Jesse.
Hey, I think the Flames have they started off really, really good. We looked really good, but I think the biggest issue that I'm having right now is how the league scheduled our break. That was stupid.
You're 5 games, like 5 days.
Yeah, we get 9 days off.
No, 5 days off. 5 days off.
It was Thursday to Sunday, so.
Yeah, we're on that break right now. Like, we're off. Today's our first day off. We don't have a game till Thursday now. So.
Yeah, you're on your 5-day break.
Yeah. I think just how we got scheduled, it was like a little bit longer than 5. I think it was 7 days. So it was just like the gap in between games because we played and then you'd have a day off and then you would have played again. And then how they had it scheduled that we had a day off after our 5-day break and then another one happened. So that was kind of stupid. I wasn't too happy about that. It kind of just threw the momentum off a lot. But I mean, I get it. The league's got to do what they got to do to make the season work. But I feel like David Rittich, not a great start to his season, and we need him to be really good. I don't really want Marchand to be like our number one solidified goaltender. I want to have that 1B guy that can come in and play really, really well when we need him to. I think what we really, really need is, if we're going to trade Bennett, that's how crazy this sounds. I think we need another puck-moving D-man. I feel like Gio's getting a little older. And there's not too many guys that are going to be able to step up and fill those shoes. And I think that's going to be a big, big thing that we got to address. And if Bennett wants out, I think we could really address it with him because, 6th overall pick could bring a big puck-moving guy back. Like, we got the defensive side of the game kind of handled. I feel like we're really good defensively on the defensive side of things. But, like, our forwards need to, skate back a little bit more, play a little better defensively. Because they're just relying on our D-men to kind of bail us out every single time the puck goes back. But, I get why the forwards are doing that. Like, we're ranked, I think, number 2 or 3 for defensive for D in the league. So I can understand why they're doing that. I think another big thing is I think Tkachuk's not playing that great. I think he's kind of mixing it up a little too much, maybe worrying about everybody else than worrying about his own game. Johnny Gaudreau's been firing out of the gate. I think he's got 3 goals in the last 2 games. He's been playing really, really well. I don't know. I honestly don't see I'm not really liking what I'm seeing. Like, we played good last night against Montreal, but I think we just got good goaltending, honestly. But the big thing is Monahan not playing good. I think he has a couple points, maybe 2 or 3. Like, he doesn't look that great right now. He's not been the controlling, solidified goal scorer that he was in the past. But maybe we don't need to trade Bennett. Maybe we need to trade Monahan. I think we need to mix it up a bit. I do think so. I think we're getting a little. I like Geoff Ward. I think he's doing a really good job on the bench.
Earlier in the podcast, we were talking about Pittsburgh and maybe if they need to start shipping some guys out. Would Gino be a fit in Calgary?
I think so. he'd be a fit anywhere. But,
yeah, absolutely,
but I think he would be.
Team, though.
The problem, I feel like the problem with that is, do you want to pay him the 8.7 for a couple more years that he's got left? Like, how's he really playing? Is he looking like the old Gino, or is he just, is he starting to slow down finally? I don't know. I guess time will tell this season. But I honestly do think the Flames are playing really well. But I also think that has a lot to do with our goalie. So I think that's. I am a little worried, boys. I don't see us. I want to say that we're the best team in the North Division and we could easily win it. But right now, I don't see it. I just see them.
I think Ryan hit
inconsistent.
the hammer on the nail there, and I think he's correct. It's probably going to finish one of those two teams in the top 1-2 spots. By the way it looks at the moment.
Yeah, I think so.
Jesse, do you got two questions for you? Do you got the Flames making the playoffs? And
he's a Flames fan, bro.
No, I know. And is Sean Monahan turned out to be a little bit of a dud? Like when he came in, I know there's a lot of people saying that he was going to be like the next Mark Scheifele, that was supposed to be like his comparable. And it just seems like he kind of just hasn't fulfilled that potential of being that like, number one centerman kind of type. Yeah, what are your thoughts? Playoffs and Monahan.
The playoffs I'll address first. I think if we could turn it up, I think we could no problem win the North Division. Like I think we could easily win it.
Bold, I like it.
I think we could run away with it. But there's a lot of things that need to come into place first. Like we're really struggling, man. I noticed when we get down a goal in the first, if we get the first goal, I'm pretty sure we lost every game so far. I don't think we've come back yet in a game. So the Flames are a big third period team, and we've kind of been like that for the last 3 years. I think 2 years ago we had the most third period goals and the least amount of first period goals. So I think that's a big issue. But honestly, like I really think we could easily win the North Division as long as, we play like we did 2 years ago. Last year we didn't look that great. Still made the playoffs, still did pretty good, lost to Dallas. So I was kind of happy about that. At least they went to the Cup final. Wasn't a terrible loss. But and then Monahan, he hasn't been my favorite player. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of him right now. I feel like he's out there. Like he's just missing. Like it's like he doesn't know what's going on anymore. He used to be like a clutch goal scorer. I think he had 8 game-winning goals 2 years ago. Last year he was nowhere to be found.
And to be such a big body out there and to be lost.
Yeah, exactly. And he doesn't play big either. Like he's a big guy. He's like 6'1", I think, almost 200 pounds. And he doesn't play a big role, which I wish he would throw his weight around a little bit more. He floats a lot. And you know what? He's not the best in the face-off dot, if you haven't noticed. He's not that great in that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I know what you said about a lot of things that have to go right for the Flames to win the division. I think,
Oh yeah.
At the same time, if my aunt had nuts, she'd be my uncle, kind of thing, right? So, if ands and buts kind of. That's an if ands and buts kind of a statement, but I hear what you're saying.
Oh yeah, I feel like we look better than 3/4 of the division, but just nothing's going right now.
Yeah, hey man, I said at the start that I had the Flames in the playoffs over Edmonton and Vancouver. I just don't see Vancouver doing it this year. And Edmonton, I mean, Koskinen played good last night in an Edmonton win over the Leafs, but that guy, they're not making the playoffs with that guy as a starter. It's just not.
No, Koskinen.
No. I don't think Travis Green gets extended either.
You don't? I think they're pretty big fans.
Should Edmonton just move?
To where?
The Red Deer.
Does Edmonton trade Connor McDavid? Does McDavid want out?
There's no way.
Does McDavid want out? If they miss the playoffs,
I don't think he's going to put up with this, especially seeing all the other kids like ask for trades and force trades. But I do think McDavid wants to.
Wants to win.
Yeah, well, I think he wants to install himself as like a great by taking a team that was garbage and bringing him to a promised land.
The problem with trading McDavid is, what do you give back for him?
17 first-round picks.
Yeah, like that's the problem. Like it's not like back in the day where they would like trade Gretzky for money. Like that's not happening anymore.
No.
So ultimately, you're saying the Flames have been dog shit so far, but they're going to be better and potentially could win the division.
No swearing, Rye, but I don't. I don't think so.
All right,
I think we've had some bad luck, honestly. Like I think that break killed us. Honestly, I think it took all the wind out of our sails. We looked like the best team in the division, and we were going to run away with it. And I thought we were going to do really well. And then that break took everything out of our sails, and we went 0-3 in the next 3 games. And then we had Markstrom bail us out last night. He definitely stole that game against Montreal last night, and I honestly don't. I think to be honest, Rye, I don't think your Leafs are going to do as well in this the next 20, 30 games. Like, I think it's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle for you. Leafs are the same like always, right? Play really good at the start, crap in the middle, and then good at the end for a final push.
I don't know. I disagree with that because if you look at last year, the Leafs, when they still had Babcock the first month and bit of the season, they were dog crap. Like they were under 500, and they were lucky to get back to a spot where they were going to make the playoffs under Keith. But last year was the first year that they didn't have the hot start and fall off in the middle. It was actually the opposite. And actually, with Anderson playing terrible in the first two games, I didn't think they were going to get off to a good start, but he seemed to turn it around. And obviously sitting at 7-2-1 is a lot better than 3-3-1. So I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been awesome to hear your outlook, Jesse, on the Flames. I this whole Bennett thing, it kind of strikes me as new news, especially just dropping last night. And you said he's a 6th overall pick. So what exactly kind of player is Sam Bennett? Like, for someone who's not a Flames fan, they don't really watch him. Like, if he gets traded, what could a team like Pittsburgh or say Ottawa, like if you could describe Sam Bennett as a player, where do you see him in 5 years from now? Like, what kind of line would he play on? What kind of style game does he bring?
I think he brings like a great second line guy. Like someone you definitely need to win a cup with. He's not going to be the most flashiest guy out there. He's got a ton of speed. He throws his weight around, and he's not a big guy. He loves to hit. The biggest thing, you know what? I see a lot of like Brady Tkachuk in Sam Bennett. Like, I feel like they're similar players. They bring it every night. They don't back away from a battle. The other thing is, he isn't he's a supporting cast. He's not going to bring a line to where you want it to go, but he can definitely support if you have a couple other guys that can play around him. He basically just digs in the corners, gets the puck out, gets it to the center of the ice where you need it, and he's always battling. He never gives up.
Yeah, no, that's fair for sure. I never, like, the only thing I remember him is dropping the mitts last year and him being kind of more of like a third line grinder guy. I didn't realize like he was a 6th overall pick.
Yeah. He's the guy that couldn't do a pull up in the combine.
No pull ups. I said that. Yeah.
What's third line center in Russian? Because I think that's where he's going to be playing in 5 years. Over in Russia.
That's big. That's big talk for someone drafting. Where's Gauthier? Where's Gauthier, Rye? Where is he?
Oh yeah.
Where is he?
Not on the Leafs because he's not good enough.
Yeah. But boys, it's been great, Jesse. I think.
Where's Ben Bishop? Where's Robin Leonard? Where's Zdeno Chara? Don't get started on that.
Here we go, Sagan.
Yeah.
Hey man, feel the thrill.
There's nobody left from that Kessel trade on the Leafs.
What a legend! Feel the thrill.
Who's eating hot dogs out of a Stanley Cup right now? I mean, good for that guy.
He's a legend.
Yeah. He's got two of them.
Boys, this has been a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just wanted to say thanks, Jesse, for coming on. Actually, while you were talking about the Flames, I remembered that we got a buddy that works in their organization, So maybe we can get Jesse back on one of these days, and we'll get our buddy who works in the Flames organization on and get those two guys talking, because I think that would be interesting to.
That sounds like a great idea, right?
To hear how that would go. If you'd be nice enough to join us, I think that would be a cool podcast. But thanks for listening. If you've gotten this far, thanks for listening to this far. And Jesse, thanks again for coming on. As always.
Boys.
Yeah, thanks, Jesse.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we hope that you can tune in for episode 4 next Monday, and have yourselves a good start to the week. Take care.
Go Flames, go.